Good evening, viewers. Welcome to your usual health show, Health Zone on Bina TV. This evening, our topic for discussion is COVID-19, and I have hashtagged it the untold stories. I have in the house Mr. Prosper Senyo Sokpe, who is a medical laboratory scientist. He is here to talk to us about COVID-19 and then his story with COVID-19. He has a little story to share with us. So welcome, Mr. Prosper.
Yeah, thank you. COVID-19 is just a group of viruses. That's why COVID is just a group of viruses that are gotten from animals that are common among animals. And then I think in 2019, this virus began to spread, and then the World Health Organization came together to be able to identify and give it a common name that will be used in order to identify that virus. It's a respiratory disease, and it was found out that it was being transmitted from animals to humans, and then later was transferred also from human to human. That is what exactly that happened in 2019.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, I know that any jama, the Maranching can health zone. Munzo muku the fear COVID-19. To last year, COVID-19 years old. Okay, farmer the CDC ya kuma. Yana chicken saki ya kuma yana nan bejeba. The Maranching muku Mr. Prosper Sokpe. She medical laboratory scientist ne. Yazo ya muna fear about COVID-19. The she kuma abin da shi ya gani as a health personnel. The batun ciwo da wani ya same shi. Isa yanzu ga takaice ya muna fear kadan batun yanda COVID-19 ya fara tun last year and all that. Isa yanzu ga zamu kuma da fear. Mr. Prosper, what can you tell us about the signs and symptoms of COVID-19?
COVID-19 symptoms just look at like similar to other diseases that we have already in existence. When you have COVID-19, at times you begin to feel feverish. And then you also have a dry cough. That's the initial stage. You'll be having sore throats. As well. And then at times the temperature also rises. It is not every time that when you have the symptoms of COVID-19 that your temperature will be high. There are other people that sometimes you test a sample, you watch the temperature, some are having like 36.4, but yet they are COVID positive. That is what we have to. Sometimes you feel some slight headache, you feel some joint ache, you have some body pains, and then sometimes you could even have diarrhea as well. So these are some few. Sometimes it's not everybody that loses taste, that the taste bud has gone. And it's not everybody also that won't be able to smell. There are some people, when they have it, the smell is gone, they cannot smell anything around, whether it's perfume, whether it's a bad or a good smell, they won't be able to do that. So basically, these are some of it. As time goes on, other stuff also come in, other symptoms also begin to pop up. So if you have people with this gastro, it's not always that now, at this era, some gastros are being associated with the disease. So it's not everybody that is having just a diarrhea, it's a normal diarrhea. It could also be that it's also a sign, or a sign of having COVID as well.
Okay. So the man I can be expecting to get signs and symptoms. Imana wana buneze ya zame mutu ya muya mugane kama maybe meshi na show kama ya samu irin wangaci ne yace we fever zafin jiki sore throat kama yanda dai muka sani cikin makoshinka yayi kama yayi kurji wadansu na tari kuma shi ya bar kanka na ciwo shi ka samu ciwon joints a takaice da inji shi way it's just like some of the symptoms are just like any other conditions that we have. Come on, the malaria, when I bad these symptoms. Isa so they were one be bamugani. She we chicken kaduka na makachi body pains. She one be when we are quite diarrhea. She chicken kajui. To wanga look at you canana ne de jikimu that they are symptoms that we experience with so many diseases already. So sometimes you may not think it is actually the cause, but it might be the cause because those are the signs and symptoms. She actually loss of taste. Cause on kachi abinchi baka jin tasting abinchi. Come on day ba abinchi kake chiba. She would also wanna lose smell. Cause okay use tulare, perfume or anything and you don't get it you don't smell it at all. You don't so is the smell just it just goes like that. You don't smell anything at all.
You don't smell anything.
It's not like it changes.
No.
It's not there at all.
It's not there at all. You won't know whether the thing is good or is bad, whether it's a good smell
or a bad
one.
It's like baka smell kumi, baka jin kamshin kumi, baka jin warin kumi. It's a signs and symptoms. COVID-19 kines and kadeka na some signs and symptoms. Kuma anje lab and test. Normally you get signs and symptoms like this, and perhaps maybe you test for malaria and it's negative.
Yeah.
You test for other ailments and there's nothing there.
Sure.
And still you have these symptoms and you have fever, then you should know it might be something else, especially in this COVID-19 era.
Sure.
And you would have to know it's an indication that you probably would have to check, have the test done. So Mr. Prosper, you are a frontliner. Tell us your job as a frontliner, about your job.
Yeah, so our job is to collect samples from the contact traces that comes into the testing center, and then the samples already come with their codes, that's the ID codes that comes along. So we have people who receive sample and also give them identification of those samples, and then the sample goes into sorting out. We're able to sort out the sample that comes. You know, normally the sample comes in a large volume, and we just need a part of it just to be able to do the test. So the sample is being prepared into other test tubes, and then we do extraction. You're able to extract the virus from that sample that you are having, then almost for PCR testing. That's basically how it goes at the place. So those samples are being assigned also a lab IDs, so that that sample could be traced in case there is a problem. So basically that's what happened at the lab. That's everything like that we do every day at the lab.
Oh, okay. So at a certain point, you tested positive in the line of duty.
Yeah, as I earlier on said that sometimes you feel feverish, you feel you'll be feeling, at times you feel weak within your joints, your knee side. I'll begin to experience those symptoms, not all the symptoms at a time. So instead of me going to test for malaria and those things, I just decided to take the malaria test, which is not the best thing anyway. I advise that you just go and then have your malaria test being done, and then after that, well, if you go and it is not that, then fine. If it is that, then you could take the anti-malaria drug. I think I did that, and for 3 days or 2 days, I didn't see any change in my system. So I decided to go to where we do the testing. And then my sample was taken, it was analyzed, and it was found out that I was positive. So I decided to, at that time I was also having diarrhea at the same time. So because of that, my knees were weak, my body was weak. So our leader asked me just to move straight to the hospital. So I went there, I went to Ghana East. That was the first time on the 26th of November. That's the first time that the thing happened. So I have to be at the emergency ward for 11 days. And I came back and isolate, went back to test again. When I tested, I was negative, but I still feel the symptoms around me, still feel the same headache, still feel the same joints ache. The pains were still all over. Because the drug, the painkiller that I was given, I realized that as soon as the drug got out of my system, I began to experience the same kind of pain. But I decided to stay for a while, and then the doctor who took care of me, I was able to get in touch. So Drugs was given again. I took it. Nothing was working. And then I have to find myself at the Salvation Army Clinic. I stayed there for 2 days. My temperature was 39.1. You could imagine if you could have a body temperature of up to 37 and then you are recording 39.1. You could imagine the kind of thing that I was going through. Yeah. So I stayed and I realized that I think the doctor told me that we need to consider testing for COVID. So I called my leader and told my leader that we need to do a COVID test. And then someone was sent from Noguchi and then he came and picked my sample. And that evening I tested positive. So now I have to go back to Gan East. And then in the process, it was not easy at all. I couldn't get the ambulance to take me to the place because according to the one they called, they are no longer using the ambulance to carry COVID patients.
The national ambulance?
The national ambulance.
Was no longer being used to carry COVID patients?
Yeah, that was what happened. And then I insisted that was not the directive from the authority. But it was difficult trying to convince someone. At that moment, I was not able to breathe properly. So I couldn't talk or challenge any longer because I needed air around me and I didn't want to waste too much energy in trying to talk. So they called the national COVID team and I was told that I should be treated in my facility. There again, I realized that the place was not designated for testing
and
or for treatment
COVID cases.
COVID cases. So I still tell them no. Because Ridge was full. I called a friend, he called, it was full. Kolebu, the same, it was full.
Everywhere was full.
That evening, on the 16th of December, all the places that I know people who even work there, some of my colleagues, said as they called the center, the place was full.
That is interesting to note, Mr. Prosper. I'm not cutting you short. We'll continue from there. But you know, up till now, some people still don't believe that COVID-19 really exists. They think it's just a story. So I'm very happy to have you here. At least you talking to them, for them to know, to hear it from you firsthand because you had the experience. It's very good to have you here because they still don't believe it. And you are saying when you made calls before you were moved to Gan East, all the places were full up.
Yeah, all the places were full up.
The isolation centers.
The isolation center that government has put in place for treatment of COVID. I was surprised because I heard on the radio several times that the beds are empty, things are, but maybe that very day that the thing happened, that was when the place got full. I cannot tell. So I just want the public to know that it's real. And the reason why I accept to do this is because I want you out there to know that the disease is real. Don't wait till you get to my stage or have a similar thing before you will believe. It is not as easy as you see it at all. It is a real situation. You see, from the beginning, people had mild type of the disease where they don't require a bed at the hospital.
Get treated and then they go.
So they just give you vitamin C and zinc and then they come complaining that when they went, they were giving them food. They just ate, but nothing was wrong with them. That is true because some people have a stronger immunity. They are asymptomatic, so they can walk around even though the disease is not affecting them. Yet they can spread the disease, and then the other vulnerable people in society who have weak immunity can also contract that disease, and their own will be worse because already they have other conditions that are associated with that disease. So it is real. It is not like a fake news or something else. Maybe those who like challenge, maybe one day we can arrange, and then if they agree, we can go and then go and see it for yourself.
Yeah, see it for themselves.
But you don't need to go and see something before believing it. Just know that the disease is real.
And take precautions.
And take precaution about it.
Okay.
So,
thank you. So, Jama, fever ya na we, Mr. Prosper, medical laboratory scientist, so ke tests samples on COVID-19 nga ka jajin mutane da test samples on COVID-19 da aikin da yake na takaice sun yi da yawa sun yi shi daban-daban tun da ya fara tun last year na amma shekaran ga zuwa ta December ga wai shi ya fara zazzabi yana jin zafi bai ya fuci da kyau kan shi na ciwo joints shi na ciwo jikin shi kana mai yazo ya yi malaria treatment bai yi ba shi yazo ya bar aka mai test da aka mai test ya samu ciwo to irin wanga don aikin shi da yake is obvious kaman through aikin nan ya samu ciwo yasa burin nan yake gwada muna kaman don na tambaye na ce bai kuma wadansu ba su believe kaman covid-19 exists ba su believe har yanzu mutane na siyasa da shi ba believe kaman yana nan yasa ba mu exercise precautions shine yake cewa shi yasa ya yarda yanzu ya zauna on this seat to agree to come and then tell us his experiences and what happened yasa da abin yayi haka ciwon ya zo yayi karfi ba in this way by irin the other covid-19 that came earlier on and people were just treated casually and then they got to go, it was a bit stronger than that yasa an karbe shi an aje kuma da ikon Allah sannan ya samu lafiya yazo yau yazo ya gaya muna yazo gidanmu Baina TV yazo yana muna firan abubuwan da ya happen ko abubuwan da yawa ba komai da ya fadi ba amma kuma ba kowa ke yi ciwon ya taima ya samu lafiya yazo ba don baka ya kai fuce an dibiya ma iska da abubuwa kanka da ba kai ka rike da kanka kuma ba yasa jama'a ku yi hankuri ciwon nan yana nan fa kuma yana nan wai isolating centers da za move shi from hospital Salvation Army isolation centers da aka kira crowd they were all full.
Yeah, sure.
Wai ko ina ya cika aka ce ko ina ya cika they were all full. Do you know what that means? It means it contained people who had tested positive and they were being treated.
Exactly.
It means kaman mutane wurin nan da ya cika nan dukan nan tankan mutane sun samu covid ne suke kan treatment. So it means the thing is that serious. Yasa ya zo nan ga yayi fira da nace ya zo ya so mu gan shi da kanshi ya fadi magana don wani bi in ba mu gan abu ba mu believe. Yasa ta kai shi kenan. So Mr. Prosper, how do you feel as an individual having contracted the virus in the line of duty? You are working. Part of the job is trying to save lives, and then you end up contracting the virus and becoming a patient yourself. What's the feeling like?
Sometimes so many thoughts run into your mind because all along I thought the treatments of COVID cases were free, but I realized after being a patient, I realized that is not it at all. Some of the medications that I was given, it was not at the treatment center pharmacy. So the drugs have to be bought outside, outside the pharmacy or the treatment center. So there were certain drugs that even just for 24, 48 hours, about the amount was 2,800. That's for only one drug.
That's expensive.
So if that is just one of the drugs, the many drugs that I was administered to. I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything around. Things were very tough, I couldn't eat. Even water doesn't taste good. Times the water tastes sweet, times they bitter, times it's salty. It is not a good experience at all. It was a very bad one. And then I feel that as a frontline, I should be given a priority, but I never had that kind of priority.
Oh yeah, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
We'll come to that. This is not ambitious. I am Zunga. She frontline and as a health worker. Da yaje tenye other people a test and so. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I'm quite sure I do samu lafiya. She the can she just samu. I would that he feel. We be didn't she bama. Yanda I can as a makina is a won't be an adam one when the hospital. Where treatment is very expensive. Magunguna, where would I get 2,000 plus 2,800. But I do kabo, not all the drugs. So one of them is 2,800. So kuya ku imagine. Mbaka da kudi. Kasake kanka. Chi wongesa America. You are not you can't afford and you don't take precautions and you get it. That is how expensive it can get. And if you don't have money to buy the drugs, you know, because they are not free. Even as a frontliner, he said he didn't get it free. The treatment was quite expensive. But wasn't there any insurance package in place for a frontliner like you?
No, not for the insurance package. I had it on air. Even the very first day, I think, when the president made an announcement and to those who are in front line, the things that have been put in place. Even up to now, they are still owing many of us for the allowances and things that was promised by the president. We don't know when some of us will be paid, even though the work is being done. For the insurance, I have many of my colleagues who even tested positive till date. They've made a request. We don't know when those requests will be approved.
So as at now, it means it's not really in place.
Yeah, sure, because
so
we are in touch of most of those people who also got infected on the line of duty. So, and they have not, for several months now, nothing came up, not even a receipt of whatever form that they have submitted, and they maybe told the other people, oh, we have submitted and this is what we have received a notice from the authorities that maybe they are working on it or not. It's as if when you submit the form, that is the end. No, wow. You don't hear anything from the authorities. It is just there.
Wow,
and we don't know when that insurance will take effect.
That's sad. That's very sad. Our frontliners don't deserve this. We hope the authorities concerned would do something about this, because yes, I remember I also heard something like that on TV. So as far as I was concerned, until I'm hearing from this from you now, as far as I was concerned, I thought there was something in place for frontliners in case the unimaginable happens. But it turns out there's nothing really in place for now. So we hope something is really done about this, because the second wave is around the corner and it's spreading very, very fast, and we still need our frontliners. The job has just begun. I always say it. I keep saying this year, we thought 2021 was coming with a fresh page, but it looks like we are continuing from where we left off. We hope it goes off soon, and we don't pray for that, but it's very sad that our frontliners should go through all this. All health personnel would not be happy with something like this, because this shouldn't happen to anyone. So we hope the authorities will listen to our pleas and then do something about this. At least Mr. Prosper has come out to tell his story. Some other people will not do it for different reasons. But I'm very happy with the courage you have, the fact that you've decided to come out to talk and to face the general public, to tell them as it is. Because these are untold stories.
Sure.
They are behind the scenes stories. They are stories that has been kept zipped under lips, and people will not dare open their mouths and talk about them. Kudos to you, Mr. Prosper.
Thank you.
So Jama, not ambitious, I am but when are they expensive? Yeah, and there's a Michigan duty, wait to as I, as a mama, don't chicken ikine. It's okay. So how was the isolation center? You said Gan East.
Yeah, Kwabenya.
So okay, is at Kwabenya.
Yeah.
Okay. How smooth was the treatment there, and how was hospitalization and everything in general?
Okay, well, even though I struggled to be able to that night to get an access to the treatment center, I think the team was good. The team led by Dr. Oliver Comey and the nurses were excellent because I've realized that there is the nurses and the people there look extra nice to us. Me in particular, I don't know why. At a point, I even asked whether they were trained here in Ghana. I called one of them and asked, and so they were trained here. So
the treatment was out of the ordinary.
Yes, they look, they are too nice. Yeah, and I said, oh, that's their work, so they have to do that. Amidst all that challenges that I faced before, even when I get to Ghana on the 16th, the emergency ward was full. There were no space over there. So we were taken to a different room where I stayed there for a while, and then I was taken to the ICU where, because I was unable to breathe properly, so I was put on oxygen, put me also on ECG machine. That's been on that for 2 weeks. I was on that machine.
2 weeks?
I was on oxygen for 2 weeks and the machine also for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I couldn't move, I couldn't walk. The physiotherapists, they always come and do their part. Have psychologists that come around to talk to us, because it's as if I've gone to an environment where I used to walk but I cannot walk.
Yeah.
And then I used to move part of my body, I couldn't move. They did their best that they could. It's just that when you go to the medications and other things, they cannot use their own money in going to buy medications for you. So
you would still have to pay
for the medication. So my families and people came around and then supported. You see, don't let anyone deceive you that treatment of COVID is free. It's not entirely true. Many of us, I also thought same, but until you get there and you require a higher medication, that is when you will know that treatment actually has not been free all this while. I've also heard other people paying even higher money. We spend over 15,000 just for the treatment, just on medications alone. That is the thing. I didn't pay for oxygen, I didn't pay for admission fee and other things.
Okay.
The other zinc or whatever tablet that I was given, some of the drips, that one, the facility has them, so within them.
But the real COVID-19
the real medications and the things that I need to make me okay were not at the facility. So it falls on you, the patient, and then your family to be able to get those medications for you outside the premises of the facility. So I don't think that if you are alone at home and then you contract this disease and you don't have friends or you don't have people around, I don't know how you are going to raise some of this money to be able to purchase those drugs for yourself. Even if you have the money, the pain alone that you go through will tell you that it is not all about money, because you could die through that process.
And the money will
be there. The day I was there, the man I came with, I think on the 4th, on the 5th day, I realized the man is gone.
Wow.
And I became a bit scared because I was speaking with that man. That man came from outside Ghana, and at that moment I was able to chat when things were a bit stable. We chat and those things, but I realized that one day I wake up, I realized that he's not on his bed any longer. When I inquire, I realized that the man is gone. So it is real. It's not like the government is not faking the story of COVID-19. It is something that is a border, and we all need to come together and be able to listen to what the authority is saying, so that you and I could be safe, so that we could have a healthy life. I think that we have to do that as soon as possible.
Thank you. Guest him way, ya contact oxygen 2 weeks, and the come ventilator 2 weeks, yana quench. Bay tashi, buy a dagger hanu, buy a dagger kafa, buy a comi. And this way, by same maganin bobo. Canada couldn't say maganin ma. Kayaka say maganin, maybe I think as we are Ike, Kayakazo, Kazoka Beach, maybe I like here, I could come to Capichki. Don't have been there again. Where you are next to him. One day, Quanche, where she 2 every 2 years, where they test positive. She does she not fever. Ama, Cafe, for do one time. The man was already gone. Yeah, Uchi. The couldn't see the cool mean should look. It's a 1 year, you can't say, oh, I won't exercise precautions. I have money. If I test positive, I can pay for it. Do you know whether you will survive it or not? That is it. More way my gungun and commend actually they are very expensive. It's a shame we do by the cow. Fearing the key back, I will one day be chicken. Mutunka saw back a fuchi. Unco kai fuchi, my chicken cuisine kaduka nacho. Kazoka na quenche, buy a dagger, hanu buy a dagger kafa, buy a chin, a binchi, buy a cool. Jamachi, when ya is serious. It's a muduba come with the cow. I saw face mask, mosa, way more can use sanitizers, more use. Call me a day, they don't. We wouldn't like any of us to go through what our brother here went through. Not, but was if it were a funny bow. Wanga magalanga. Now check when people have kept their lips tight. Mutane soon seal back in so. Ba for the woman. Call when he asks a mama. Ya location come on. When I have been boy one, so the person will not even come and tell you, come on, gashi. Amagashi yo. One some brother muchkin studio. Gayaze muna wanga fever. It's a shame we do by the kill. Mr. Prosper. How, okay, before then, were you conscious the whole time? Because I think you just said before you realized your colleague on the other side was gone. Does that mean you were not conscious at a certain point?
Yeah, at a point I went off for some days.
Wow.
And I don't know, I think that is by the grace of God that I am here. And so you shouldn't think that COVID people are faking it and doing no. We should take our mind off that and be able to fight it all together, because COVID destroy economy, destroy every activity that we do.
Sure.
So if we can only pay attention and listen to what the health authorities are telling us, then we can be able to reduce. It will be there, it can be there, but there's a way we can also help in reducing it, so that things will become normal for us. Sure. So that we can also do whatever we want to do around.
Sure. Thank you very much. So how has post-recovery phase been? How has your post-recovery been? You are still in that period.
Yeah.
So how is it going? How has it been?
After the recovery, after I tested negative and I was discharged to come home, it hasn't been easy. My breathing pattern changed. It has not been normal. I get tired easily if I walk, say, a distance of 100 or 200 meters. Or even when I climb a stairs, I find it difficult to be able to cope, because I still feel difficult in breathing.
You get tired with the least exertion, activity.
Yeah, it's happened that sometimes my rib, once in a while, I feel some pain over there. I realize that my BP, for now the BP has come down. I was put on, I never had BP, higher BP, but I always check that. But the COVID made it that BP has become high and I have to be put on medication for some time. I'm still in that process, in that recovering process. My life has not been the same. My HB blood level has dropped drastically. It wasn't at the current rate as which it was.
From what you are saying, I can see the recovery phase itself is also quite challenging.
It's as if you are still having the disease around.
It's not that easy.
Yeah. You still be having that kind of feeling. At times you have some slight headache here and there.
So it takes time.
I was told that sometimes it will take time for you to be able to gain, as if you are lucky, to gain back your strength and everything. Okay. So the recovery process too is also a work. Post-recovery is also a work on its own.
Yeah.
So that is why I'm trying to advocate and tell others that I don't want you to be where I am now or the things that I'm going through now. I just want that everyone should know, so that we can all take a certain kind of precaution. You can be taking your precaution. When you have it, then within you know that you have done your best. But when you disregard the precaution, the safety measures, and then you contact, then it becomes like as if because you were a bit stubborn or you didn't listen to advice. That is why those things have happened to you. But I believe that as we continue to talk to you out there, you will also advise someone, you also talk to someone, so that in all we can all help in minimizing the effects of COVID on us, so that we can have a free life.
Thank you, Mr. Prosper. So, Jama, takari shake na tambishi nzunga ya the hospital and discharge and she ya zo gida ya test negative, he's fine. Man na tambishi sa nzunga bayan ciwo post recovery phase ya yake feel ya abin yake. So magana da yake for the month is quite interesting. It's not like symptoms nduka ya wuce ba. She da yake zaune yanzu ga is a changed different person. Activity it's not like it used to be. Ingani iya tafiya kadan ya gaji. Cikin kirjin shi na ciwo wani bi. Kan shi na ciwo wani bi. A takaice dai life shi dai ya sake. Ba shi kaman the way it used to be. Kuma wai an ce mai kaman it takes time before komai zai ya regularize, komai ya zo ya yi daidai. Sa kun gani even yanzu ga ma da yanzu ga an cire shi ma abubuwan shi bai yi ba, still ma bai samu kan shi ba, ma kadan mun sa kaman he will be fine. Tunda dai ya test positive, it's just a recovery process. Kuma amma duk da wannan kun ga ya force ya zo nan ga ya zo ya gan mu don mu samu mu yi fira da shi. Mun gode mai kwarai. Thank you so much, Mr. Prosper, for taking time off and leaving the comfort of your home and your bed when you should be relaxing, I know, and coming to join us to share your story with us. We appreciate it so much. We couldn't appreciate you less. Seriously, I'm very grateful for having you around. And before I forget, I'm very happy about this thing you said about the staff of Gan East, where you were hospitalized. At least with the warm reception, it's good to have statements from our own colleagues and our patients who pass through our hands to say good things about us. So I don't know if anybody from Ghana is just watching. Prosper is grateful. We are grateful. We all love you. Keep on the good work. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, too.
Okay. Okay. So I think the program ends here. Hopefully next week we'll join you with another interesting topic and discussion. Stay safe. Good evening.